everyone. This is Navneet from Visa Empire, and I have Neet with me. Hi, Neet. How are you?
Hello, Navi. I'm good. And how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, actually. I know you are busy since morning, so many consultations, and now
Yes,
we are here in live session.
definitely. It's time to relax and answer all the queries, live queries for our
Yeah,
viewers. So I don't find it very, stressful. It is fun and answering everybody's queries here online. That's fun.
how was your day? Busy?
Day was very busy, very busy. Since
Okay.
morning, I've been just talking and, communicating with authorities, communicating with employers, with our clients.
I
That's what I've
know,
been
I
doing.
know. And Neet, actually, we are in live today.
Okay.
As you know, elections are approaching
Yes.
and people are not getting invite from
Yeah.
any state. Doesn't matter, Queensland, Western Australia. And so they are confused, like
I
which.
would like to cut you here.
Okay.
From Queensland, we got last week an invitation for a carpenter 190 60 plus 5 points. We
Okay.
got another invitation for a tiler from Queensland 50 plus 15 point. It means Queensland is giving
Is
out
invite
invitations, but for construction occupations.
only for construction.
Only for construction
And
occupation.
are they just giving invite randomly or they are conducting it
They're very
monthly or.
random. They are very random in their invitation rounds. Like there is no set date that on this particular date there is going to be an invitation round. It is just like whenever they feel like they are conducting the invitation round.
Okay.
And another pattern that we have observed in these invitation, there is nothing like earlier they said they are going to consider factors like superior English,
Okay.
highest salary, partners points, and all those experience points. But nowadays, like whatever invitations we are getting, we think these four factors are not being taken into consideration. So it means the occupation is the one that's the key factor.
Okay.
So if your occupation falls in the industry such as construction or
Yeah.
health, you have a big win in that
As
case.
you said, like you got a carpenter 65
60
points.
plus 5,
That's,
that's incredible. Like,
actually.
60 plus 5 points. Yes.
And people are confused, like which visa they have to apply, whether 407 or 186, 482.
understand.
And what is the difference? Like, can you just explain a
Yeah,
little bit?
sure. Like for a beginner and somebody who's very naive, about this migration process, I would like to explain in today's webinar. Let's discuss that. I think there is no way like we can start anytime. So 407, what is 407? It's a training visa. Why would somebody go for a 407 and not for 482? What's the difference? If somebody is not having 1 year of full-time work experience, but they have a qualification related to that field within the last 2 years, they will definitely go with 407 because they don't have experience for 482, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me why they would like to have 407 rather than going with 482. Another thing, why would people like to go for 407, not for 482, is income requirements. Employers are not willing to pay, 73,150.
package.
That is Tismet. They're not happy to pay that. So in that case, people have no option. They have to go with 407. But if you have 1 year of full-time work experience, you have an employer willing to pay you 73,150. I would highly recommend to go with 482 rather than going with 407.
Okay. So, yes, I think this is good advice for our clients.
Yes.
Okay. And how about 186? That's clear. Like we need experience.
Very, very clear. You need 3 years of full-time work experience. You need a positive skills assessment unless you are applying for 186 TRT. Now, what is TRT? I know
Yeah.
if I say something out of that, then you will have next question. What is TRT? Okay, so if you already got 482 and you've been working with an employer for the last 2 years, you are applying for 186 TRT, not
Okay.
DE. And in that case, skills assessment, it is not a mandatory requirement. It is only upon the discretion of case officer.
Okay.
So most of the times, like I have never seen in our consultancy that ever we've been asked for skills assessment for 186 TRT.
Okay.
It's always granted without having a skills assessment. But sometime, some case officer may ask and you have to provide skills assessment for 186 TRT.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about like direct entry?
Always mandatory skills assessment, but you need 3 years of full-time work experience. This full-time work experience can be overseas, can be from here, from anywhere, right? And as soon as you are eligible, you can apply for 186 direct entry if the employer
Okay.
is happy. It's not like you have to stay on a 482 visa for 2 years to be eligible for 186 DE. It all depends upon if you have an occupation in core skills occupation list, you can apply. Even today, you have 3 years of full time work experience, you apply for 186 DE.
Okay, all right. So, Neet, as we were talking about GSM, especially General Skill Migration, how about Western Australia? I think people are waiting from long time for their nomination to be granted, and they are not giving the grants for nomination. Is there any time frame? Like everyone is like they are getting frustrated.
I
Actually,
understand.
visas are expiring and
I understand.
not getting nominations
I
granted.
totally get you, and I totally get my viewers, those who are not getting their nomination approvals from Western Australia. Western Australia is a state that is easily taking for the nomination approval about 3 to 4 months. Easily. If you have something like a request to expedite, sometime we do that, right, for
Okay.
our clients. They do take into that consideration that, okay, visa is expiring, but it's not like it's for decision ready applications. If they ask for more information, you have to provide more information.
Okay.
And right now, Western Australia is very particular about their residency requirements.
Okay.
If you see like applications that were there a year ago, there was no strict residency requirement for Western Australia.
Actually,
People used to provide just one utility bill, and that was just the residency requirement for Western Australia. But nowadays, anyone who is seeking 491 or 190 invitation from Western Australia, as a resident of Western Australia, if you have lodged your EOI, in that case, my recommendation is you must have all the proofs of residency, such as you should have lease agreement, you should have utility bills. If you have gone to a doctor, so you need to have that GP letter or appointment letter to show that, okay, you were there in Western Australia and you've been seeing a doctor, or you've been, doing all the bank transactions, whatever grocery you are buying from Western Australian stores, all those bank transactions showing that you've been shopping at Western Australian stores. So
Okay.
those are the things that you must be ready to provide to Western Australia if you have lodged your EOI for 491 or 190 for Western Australia. Always be up to date with current trends, what Western Australia is asking. So don't think I got an invitation from Western Australia and my nomination will be approved. Nowadays, Western Australia is very, very strict in terms of the residency requirement. You got the invitation, but nomination can be refused.
Okay.
So be very particular about it.
So basically, they need to meet the residency requirements, and
Yeah.
they can ask anything.
Exactly. They
Okay,
can ask
all right.
anything.
Let's talk about Victoria. So,
Yeah,
what's going
sure.
on? Victoria invites,
Victoria,
invitation rounds,
They
points.
got 5,000 seats. 5,000 seats were there in Victoria. But if you look at their invitation rounds, they are just conducting very small invitation
Actually.
rounds and inviting. It's very occupation specific, I would say. Victoria is, again, very occupation specific. Teaching,
Okay.
health, that is what they are inviting. Even with health, I would say right now registered nurses, they are miserable. Enrolled nurses, they are not at all happy with Victoria because Victoria is not inviting these occupation as well. Very less invitation. I think it's all about the election agenda, and that is why there is like something is there, definitely. All the states are very quiet. South Australia is just sending out in like not invited notifications to clients. So it's
Okay.
pretty disappointing at this moment. I think the only saver at this stage is employer sponsored visa, 482, 186, 407, whatever you can say. To extend your stay, these are the only options left at this point. So we can't rely solely on invitations. So again, to my viewers, I'm saying like, if you are just solely relying on the invitation and visa is expiring within next 6 months, I would say start looking for a backup option as an employer sponsored visa, because invitation is not at all guaranteed. And even if the new government will come, or even if there is no changeover of the government, but still it's gonna take like after election, it's gonna take another 2 to 3 months for anybody to get settled, right?
Actually.
So you need to have a backup for employer sponsored visa.
Neet, Jashan is asking how many seats are left in Victoria.
Victoria, we have published like on our page. You can check like they were having about 50% of seats left when last time when we updated. we don't have recent update, but like if you see on our page, you will find they were having more than 50% seats left
Okay.
in Victoria.
All right.
But they said they will be inviting people until maybe May or June, but just they are conducting small invitation rounds.
Okay. Okay, a need for the occupation like construction, health. For all the states, they are encouraging these occupations, or this is just like few states are just like Western Australia, they are encouraging construction, or all the states are same, like construction, health sector, teachers.
Okay. So when you see like in a broader picture, if we look into, then every state is right now prioritizing construction
Okay.
and health.
Okay.
But if you just look at state, like which states are particularly inviting only construction, then it's Western Australia and
All right.
Queensland. Queensland and Western Australia are very much into construction
Okay.
right now. Victoria is not into construction.
All right.
In Victoria, people are not getting invited even for construction occupations.
Okay, Neet, I have a question. Like, if someone is on student visa,
Yeah.
but they cannot apply due to their age for 485,
Yes.
is this the wise advice to go on 407, or what is the other pathway for them?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question. If you are on a student visa and your student visa is expiring because of age factor, because you are above 35, you cannot apply for 485. In that case, rather than going with 407 training visa, if you don't have a legit training plan and employer, like if proper training plan is there, always like, okay, training visa is a good option because you can gain full-time work experience on a training visa. If not, in that case, extending your student visa would be a wiser advice. Extend your student visa but gain experience in these kind of cohort, like anybody who is having like age above 35. I'm pretty sure they have done some sort of studies back home overseas.
Yes,
They should
definitely.
always, the moment you come to Australia, my advice would be like, consult a registered migration agent or a lawyer, those who have expertise in these, like finding out the right occupation for the skills assessment purposes. Because if you have overseas qualification, overseas experience, the moment you come here in Australia on a student visa, get your skills assessed. Right?
Okay.
You may have a skills assessment positive and improve your points while you're studying and gain experience in the same field of your skills assessment 20 hours per week. Even if you're gaining that experience, that is actually validated for your skilled visas. So like that, you really need to plan. It's nothing about, okay, changing the study, hopping on to different courses. That is not like always guaranteed that it can lead you to permanent residency. But like focusing on one particular pathway, gaining experience in that particular pathway, having a strong connection with the employment industry. So all these things would definitely lead you to permanent residency.
So you mentioned skill assessment on the basis of their offshore experience or
And
qualification.
offshore qualification.
So once if someone get the positive skill assessment on the basis of their offshore experience or qualification, can they apply EOIs as offshore candidate, or they should apply onshore candidate?
They will still be eligible for onshore. Now, again, it depends on the state.
Okay.
Let's say you are in Queensland. In your nominated occupation, you cannot apply for state nominated 190 and 491. Reason being, Queensland is looking for 30 hours work experience, ongoing job. That case you cannot meet. In that case, what good states are there? Western Australia is not having ongoing job requirements. So very good state where students can be eligible for
Okay.
their GSM pathway for 190, 491. Victoria is another good state where you can be
Okay.
eligible.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say it depends upon the state. Based on your offshore experience, based on your offshore qualifications, you can get your skills assessed and be in a state where they are encouraging students to also apply for GSM visas.
So in short, we can say if they're meeting the requirements for that state, particular state, they can definitely apply for the EOIs,
Definitely.
even they are on student
Visa. And we have had many clients in the past. If you look at like we have been advising people when they come to us like on student visa and had overseas qualification and skills, many times we got their skills assessed and they got their 189 invitation.
Okay.
And being on student visa, they got their permanent residency.
How about offshore candidates? Like, are you getting invites for offshore candidates as
We
well?
got recently, we got a teacher's invitation,
That's great. Okay.
primary school teacher invitation from Canada. She was there in Canada, and we got her invitation from Victoria, 60 plus 15 points.
Okay, that's really good
Yeah, 60
actually.
plus 15 points for 491. So we are getting
So people should
invitations.
not lose hopes. Like if
Exactly. You should not lose hopes. There are always ups and downs in the migration trends, and we have been seeing these like for the last 10 years. That's what I have been seeing, observing, like, okay, what's going on? And yeah.
okay, let's talk about employer sponsor now.
Okay.
So I recently heard like about like there's a pathway for the delivery drivers and everything.
Oh
So
yes, yes.
can you
We
just little
we
bit
posted
explain?
that
Yes.
update about delivery drivers. Every occupation has a pathway. I
Pathway.
would say it's not, if not a standard employer sponsored visa, then in that case damas they have a huge range of occupation, and you can choose any dama region where your occupation is there and find an employer, and you can get sponsored for 482, 494, and later on leading to permanent
Yep.
residency. Yeah, so there are
All right.
pathways. Even as a delivery driver, you have a pathway for permanent residency.
Is there any more like requirements for them, like which license they should have, what kind of deliveries they are doing? Then only they can apply, employers and everything.
Okay, so for a delivery driver, what license they should be having? They should have HR license. Delivery driver means driving either a van or a car to deliver goods or food, right?
Okay.
So that is what a delivery driver does. And for delivery drivers, they need to have 1 year of work experience. They need to have a positive skills assessment from Verassess and an employer willing to sponsor. Now, looking at employer for delivery driver must be either in Townsville, Orana, Kimberly, or Goldfields.
Okay.
Yeah, these are the 4 damas.
Okay, so Neeta, I have a question from one of our viewers. 407 is refused, so what will be the pathway? Did not get any, the nomination decision.
Decision.
But
This is
still
very
apply
common.
for ART.
This is very common. Like people are applying for ART, and that's what, like, you have no options. You have to apply for ART, right?
Actually.
But what we have seen, one of our colleagues, he got invalid ART review, acknowledgement. So they said, like, okay, firstly they acknowledged the application, and after few weeks, they got the notification that ART is invalid, just because nomination, definitely as per law it is invalid, but people are lodging it just because they have no other options, right? I would say during this time, while you are waiting for ART to come back and say one day, okay, it is invalid application, have a backup, like either through 482 or 186, whatever visa options you are eligible for, you can start doing that.
Okay. Okay. Neat. Next question. Working in aged care, and can I go for 407?
Okay, in an aged care, guys, try to understand 407 is a training visa, and it has a list of occupation that can be eligible for training visa. Now,
Okay.
if you are working in an aged care, and in that case for training visa, okay, what occupation are you going to nominate? Age or disabled carers are not there in 407 training visa, but there are multiple occupation that are there in aged care setting, and they are in 407 training visa. And training visa means you are getting training to become one.
Okay.
Not like you are right now one. Okay?
Okay.
It can be based on your qualification, it can be based on your work experience requirement. So there are smarter ways to do it, even from an aged care. You really need to get a personalized advice, I would say, in this case.
Okay.
We cannot advise all these things here in
Actually.
this open platform, but yes, definitely there is a way how an aged care provider can give you a training visa.
Okay. And if someone has relevant qualification as per their nominated occupation but no experience, still they can apply for 407
yes,
visa.
for 407. That's the beauty of 407. Even if you don't have 1 year of relevant work experience, but you have a qualification within the last 2 years, you are eligible.
All right. All right.
Imagine,
That's-
like, okay, I'm giving a very good tip here. Okay, you are applying for a residential care officer or something like that, and you have done community studies, right? You have a diploma level of qualification. In that case, you can apply for a 407 training visa.
Okay. All right. So what about 189? Any predictions for the invitation round?
We have been predicting, but then I think it's just the election. They said they have very small quota that's left for 189,
All right.
and there will be a small invitation round before June, 30th of June, a
Okay.
very small invitation round.
All right.
We cannot predict much from this, like from 189.
Mm.
Last round was on 7th of November, and they said they will be doing every 3 months, but they haven't done it.
And as you know, some nurses are sitting on 65, 70 points
70 points.
and hoping for invite for 189.
Exactly.
What do you think? They need to improve their points,
They need to
or
improve. See, points, like, you should not be just sitting idly when there is no round happening. You may get invited at 65 points, but that's not guaranteed, right? So in that case, you cannot be just sitting quietly. You have to have that, the best points that you
Actually.
can afford. Yeah.
So next question, ICT business analyst, 100 points 491 in Queensland. What are the chances to get invited?
Chances seems to be good. Like, I think you really need to follow up with Migration Queensland as well. What's going on? Just because if somebody is sitting at 100 points, definitely they have superior English, they have regional employer, they have good salary, they have maybe partner points as well, because 100 points, if somebody is sitting at 100 points, 85 of their own, uh, better talk to Migration Queensland and get an update, like whether they will get invited this round or not,
Okay.
this financial year.
Okay, I have one more question related to the points. Again, enrolled nurse, 80 points, Victoria. What are the chances?
As I mentioned earlier as well, and again mentioning, you cannot just rely on the invitations. Chances are, like, it is just like a lucky draw, right? So you may get any time an invite, or you may not get it. And if your visa is expiring, you cannot just rely on these invitation rounds. What you need to do, you need to have a backup. For nurses, there are a lot of employers right now, they are sponsoring nurses on 482. And the good thing is, for enrolled nurses, if you have 3 years of work experience, if some employer is happy to sponsor you for 186 direct entry, go for that. It is far better than 491. If you are getting 186 direct entry as an enrolled nurse, don't look for 491.
Okay, yeah,
That
that's
would be
really
my
good.
advice. Don't look at 491.
And need for 482, if someone already got the visa granted 482, what are the requirements they need to meet after that? Because we got so many questions related to that. Can
Yes.
we change the employer and like the requirements
After
after the grant?
482 grand,
Yes.
yes, sure, let's mention those requirements. So after 482 grand, what you need to do, you must be working only in the nominated occupation, only with the nominated employer, right? Whosoever is the sponsoring entity, you must be
Alright.
working only for them. And if you're taking leave, paid annual leave is definitely applicable. If you have to meet the requirements, like 2 years requirement on 482, because you are only eligible for 186 TRT, in that case, definitely those 2 years, all the pay slips, you have to maintain the record, attendance. And right now, ABF is very, very strict.
Okay.
We have seen many of our clients, the businesses, ABF is coming and they have started raiding the businesses. What they're asking for pay slips. They're asking for bank statements of the businesses, whether businesses are paying them on regular basis. So
Okay.
ABF is very strict on that. So my advice is, if you are on a 482 visa, make sure you are getting paid regularly. And employers, if you are listening to this podcast, in that case, again, my advice is, like, always, maintain the pay records, attendance record. If ABF is coming at your place, you must be able to, show them all the attendance record, pay slips, and whether they are working in the nominated field.
They must not breach any condition,
Yes,
actually.
they must not breach any condition, because it would lead to cancellation of their visa, and it can impact your business as a sponsor. It will impact your business. It can actually raise that adverse information.
Okay. Neet, they have recently added taxi drivers, right? So are they like in all the damas they are that occupation is available, or only
No.
few?
Taxi drivers are only in 3 damas. They are in Cairns, Far North Queensland. They are in Northern Territory, and they are in Kimberley. So there are
Okay.
3 damas where taxi drivers are there.
Okay. Any taxi driver, Uber drivers, everyone is eligible.
Everyone would be eligible. 1 year of work experience with all the pay evidence and everything. You will be able to get your 482. with 1 year of experience, provided you have a positive skills assessment, and skills assessment body is well assessed.
Okay, I have a question. Working as a retail manager in a company, they are happy to sponsor. So, what will be my pathway? 2 years of experience.
Okay, if you have 2 years of experience and a relevant qualification, you just need 1 year of experience and a relevant qualification. As for a retail manager, the relevant qualification is diploma of business, diploma of business management. All these are relevant qualification, and you can get 482. After getting 482, after 1 year, if the employer is happy, you can get 186 DE.
Okay. And if someone has no relevant qualification, then
Then in that case, 3 years of full-time work experience can substitute your formal qualification requirements.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think I have one more question for related to, okay, student visa recently refused, and what I can do, because I have already applied for ART.
Yeah.
I have experience 1 year in a child care. What will be the pathway?
Okay, if you have 1 year of experience as a childcare worker and you have definitely a certificate 3 level qualification or diploma in childcare, in that case you can avail 482 visa. Just because you have a visa refusal onshore, you cannot apply onshore 482. You have to go even for a day offshore to apply for the visa. Visa can be granted onshore, but the lodgement must be done offshore.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they cannot apply onshore actually. Having 80 points with state motor mechanic, working and living in outer South Australia regional, what are the chances?
Okay, this is something
Reed Kara is asking, yeah.
right now. South Australia already, if you see their update, it was about 6 months ago, I guess. Chefs, motor mechanics, enroll nurses. This is what South Australia said. Like, we have enough of these, and we may not invite these, even if they are in outer regional. Start looking for a backup. 482, 186.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone is asking, what are the requirements for 494 visa?
For 494 standard. So there are two type of 494. I'm not sure which one you are asking, but I'll still explain both. I think I need to have water. My throat is, I don't know. It's just the flu season, and
I know, Neet.
and right now, if somebody can get me water, that would be great. I'm not able to speak continuously. Okay, we were talking about 494 standard pathway, and we are talking about 494 DAMA pathway. For 494 standard pathway, you need to have 3 years of full-time work experience.
Okay.
You need to have 6 each. You need to have a positive skills assessment. These are the three requirements, three main requirements, and you have to have a regional employer. It's not DAMA, it's regional employer. If I'm talking about Queensland, regional areas of Waterford is regional, Forest Lake is regional, so you need to have a regional employer. Okay, and for 494 DAMA, in that case, what are the requirements? You need to have 2 years of work experience, and your English requirements are as per the DAMA agreements. The agreement requirements are 5 overall, 4.5 each. Most of the agreements, it depends again, like which agreement we are talking about, whether it's South Australia, whether it's Far North Queensland, which agreement we are talking about, right?
All right, all right. Neet, I think you are tired today,
No,
and
no,
I know
that's all right.
Since morning you are taking consultations.
Yep.
So I think we can just close this live for today. I'm so sorry.
But like, if you have 1 or 2 questions, I'm happy to answer.
No, should be fine. You can just give your wise advice to all the clients, like at end what you want to say.
Okay. So at the end, I would just like to say, if your visa is expiring and you are still hopeful that an invitation will come, I would not like to give you any false hopes. Just because right now invitation rounds are not at all predictable, like whether they will be conducting one. They may conduct tomorrow one. You never know. But,
Yeah,
right?
actually.
But on that hope that whether they'll be conducting a round or not, we cannot just, decide our future. So you really need to have a backup plan, either through 407 or 482 or 186, right? The best is 482, not 407. And if you are on a student visa, not able to get your 485 visa, in that case, you can extend your student visa. 408 visa holders, they can extend, they can study further, right? So these are the options available.
I have one last question from my client. If student visa got refused, then can my spouse apply for training visa? like maybe spouse is student dependent and
But like, if your visa is refused, you are Section 48 barred. You cannot apply for a training visa, whether you as a primary applicant, or you as a secondary
secondary
applicant.
applicant.
Like, if visa is
No one
expired,
can.
you cannot apply for a training visa. Um
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you. We'll see you in next webinar. So
yeah,
thank you,
that is
Neet.
going to be like every week we are conducting a live
Every Friday, yes.
a live webinar.
Yep.
That's every Friday, where we interact with our viewers online and try to answer all your questions. So next Friday there will be another webinar, 4 to 5 p.m.
Yeah, you can ask your question because this is a golden opportunity to ask question online, and we will answer straight away. Thank you, Neet. Thank you so much.